I know for me, if my audience is senior citizens, I'm a pop up in a McDonald's. They all at 7:00 in the morning. They're always there with their coffee, everything, or the YMCA. Either, you know what I'm saying? I'll start doing a presentation at the YMCA.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dads on Purpose, the podcast, man. I am your host, Josh Ashford. And as always, got the big homie, KB, Mr. Kevin Brigance. What's good, bro?
What's up, baby? As always, it's exciting to be here on Dads on Purpose podcast. I got to switch it up. So we're going to switch it up for the next year. What's up, Josh? Let's roll, baby.
Bro, how many times we got to talk about this? Every time when you do the pause, I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get our YouTube viewers up first before they can see, because most of our viewers on the podcast, they be like, oh, that they, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no money. They ain't got no good system. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I love it, though. I love it. Yo, we got Words Taylor in the building, man. Words. I'm going to let you introduce yourself because I really have been practicing your introduction all day long. And I said, you know what?
Let's see what you came up with.
I'm not gonna do it.
Let's hear it.
I ain't going to do it.
Okay, just let me get the first 10 seconds of it.
It's only 10 seconds long. Oh, man. Well, look, now I forgot it. I done got shy. No, okay. Because it's two parts.
Okay.
Yeah, when you be like, it's wake up time. Let's get it. How y'all feeling? I had to think about it because I always got the second part because the smile. Yeah. Salute to the Dream Builders. How y'all feeling?
Salute to the Dream Builders. Let's go, man. So no, just Words Taylor, believer, husband, father.
Hey,
entrepreneur. Let's go.
Hey,
that's me.
Hey, yo, I was gonna do like a long like WWF introduction, like he is the reigning online launch strategist.
Let's get that too.
Heavyweight champion of the world. I got the belt up there.
Let's go. Let's go. I feel like I should have stood up for this one.
What do you say?
I feel like I should be standing up.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean, like no shade, no tea. Most of our viewers are on podcast land, so we're trying to get our YouTube numbers up. But
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they just gonna hear you anyway, so it don't matter.
Okay. That's cool.
Yo, man, everybody doesn't know Words, but man, this is a good dude, good humble dude, and he'll get you right. But my first question though, Words, how'd you get the name Words? Because I know that's not your real name.
Right. So listen, in college, I actually started off doing spoken word poetry. That was an outlet for me. So I grew up in Chicago and I came to Iowa to go to
still cold, bro.
Yeah. It's real.
Hold on. You went to school there. You a Hawkeye or Cyclone?
Cyclone.
Okay. I know it's a question.
Yeah. I mean, but you got to get that. I'm definitely a Cyclone. Okay. And I was angry all the time. And some of the guys that I was hanging around with, they were like, bro, you need to do something different. So I tried being a rapper and my name then was Armageddon.
Oh,
all right. Which happened to be like, so I pledged Phi Beta Sigma. So that was my name. And so I was like, yeah, Armageddon. So I'm doing all these angry raps and all of this stuff. And then my guy pulled me to the side, my man James and Steve, and they was like, bro, that's not it. Like, you're trash. You're trash.
Wow.
And so I started watching Def Poetry Jam. And I was like, this is what I need. This is the outlet that I need. And I was just like, what am I going to call myself? Because people had these dope names, Black Ice. And I'm like, shoot, and I was just like, what am I delivering? What am I using to heal myself and other people? So like poetry started off as worship, and I was like, Words. And I was always saying, okay, word. And it just kind of stuck. I was like, Words. That's what
I like.
But here's the thing.
That's dope.
I actually made an acronym out of it at first. I don't even think I've ever even talked about this. Where the acronym was like, wisdom only revises determined souls.
Oh,
and I
would have never remembered that, bro.
So I remember going to my first open mic, and it was in Atlanta. Queen Sheba was like, "Okay, you went all the way in with that one." Huh?
Yeah. Yo, were you married at the time or no?
So I was married when I married when I came here? No, we weren't married. We were dating though.
Okay, you were dating. Okay. Yeah, because that's part of what I want to get into. Like, well, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I usually like to ease into it, but I'm just like, yo, I got a lot of questions, so I'm just about to jump into it because I know I told Kev, I said, don't let me hog this mic, bro, because I will. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. I will. But
let's get into it.
Yo, here's the big question. Like, we talking about how to launch a business, right? How to successfully launch a business, how to profitably. Is that the right word?
Profitably.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't even know words, Kev. You know that's not my thing.
We understand.
Bro, I'm like E.T. E.T. He be like going in and I'll be like, that's not the right word, bro. And I'm like, you know what? I did.
But it makes you feel like it's the right word.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
The delivery. He said it with so much conviction.
It's the conviction and the authority. You like, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, you got it.
Bro, listen, this Sunday, my pastor, he was going in at church and he was trying to make some analogy. And he said something like, they running around like Flash in the Avengers. And I was like, and everybody, you know what I'm saying? All the old heads clapping. They was like, yeah, brother. And I was like,
nah.
But anyway, whatever. Anyway, so
that's wrong comic.
Yo, what's the biggest issue with like people successfully launching their business, like profitably? Because like we just gonna start there, and that's the $1 million question, right?
Yeah. So I think a good thing with that is when I started trying to become an entrepreneur, I used to create products and then try to force people to get on board with what I just created. And so the lost art of actually creating a profitable business is market research. And that's the boring answer, but that's the real answer, right? Is you thinking like, oh, I have an idea, and you don't validate that idea, or you don't get the market to validate that idea. You think like, my idea is good. It's golden. I'm gonna make $1 million. Y'all are gonna buy it. So you go and create it without asking the market, hey, is this something you want?
They need. Yeah.
And by market, I mean whoever you're trying to solve the problem for. You're asking them, you're actually surveying them, interviewing them, and saying, hey, is this something you would purchase? Does this solve a problem for you? Is this a painful problem? And if they validate it and say, yes, I've been waiting for that. Oh, I'm going off to the races. However, most of us don't do that. We start off for like,
I was about to say.
Listen, I had this idea once of, and I told this on my IG the other day where
I meant to watch that one, the one you took down after 24 hours.
Yeah, I took it down. Right. So this is good information now, you know. So I saw some workers that were using a hammer to break up bricks.
Yeah.
And you know, they talk about the back and all that, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? What if I made some boots with cleats on them and they could just step on them and break up the bricks? In my head, this is a $1 billion idea.
Bro, your knees gone.
Like, what do you think about this idea? And my man was like, what? He's like, you know, you got to think we're in and out of vehicles. So now if this could break through bricks, it will break through our car. Now we have to change shoes each and every time. We got to walk around the site barefoot or something like that. I was like, oh. But now, let's just think like, okay, that's extreme. But let's think about how many ideas do we look and observe and think there's a problem based off of just that observation? And then we just run with it and create it without actually saying, would this be a problem? Think about how much time you save. Think about how many ideas you wouldn't do if you just validated it with the market.
Bruh, I'm telling you, my pockets. Yeah, look, and when Kev start going, that mean he trying to say something.
Man, because I think what he really said was like, what problem are you trying to solve? And a lot of people that I've talked to, Like they want to start a business, but they're not even looking at a problem. They're just thinking about something that they want to do, and it's something that they believe in, but it doesn't fix a problem for somebody else. It's just something that it's a product, right? It's a product that I feel that people need, but they don't know exactly who or what that person or who they're trying to send that product to. I know Josh and I was talking last week about me even tailoring down some stuff that I do and who do I really focus on and he was like, man, that's just too wide. Down, and the problem with that for me was my product and services in student development. So I can reach from an elementary school student all the way up to a high school student because I have experience and know the levels of each student in that area, in that range. What do I need to do to get them to the next level? Well, a lot of people they just developing products and it doesn't solve anybody's problem. And so now they're stuck with the product that they can't sell. And so, like you said, they start not forcing it down other people and not realizing why other people won't jump on it is because it doesn't solve an issue. And I don't know. I got a question because we talk about products, we talk about solving problems. How do we do that? Like, can somebody solve a problem in clothing? Because some of the things that I'm starting to see is a lot of entrepreneurs jumping into clothing line. Is there a problem that could be solved through a clothing line?
Yeah. So
Bird's got one on right now.
Yeah, for sure. Support Black college, right? So you can use clothing lines for several things. Bringing awareness to problems. Right. So like supporting Black college, that's bringing an awareness, but it also, you can use clothing lines to bring a community together. So like bringing a belief, like centering around a belief. Right. So the belief is just do it. You know, so now we are the synergy of what we do. Oh, you believe in just do it too? You believe? Oh, okay. Let's all get a shirt. And now we are community. So the problem that we are solving in there, even though it may not look like a problem, but the problem is community, togetherness, and being acquainted and feeling like you're a part of something. Look, so I got I don't buy Jordans, right? I've never bought a pair of Jordans, but my friend, I am one that, you know, my shoe game is getting a little better, but I'm not a shoe person.
I'm gonna say words. What size are you? Because that depends.
I'm 10 and a half, 11.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Wait, what?
Yeah. So I don't really care.
Hey, words. You my type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Just give me some good bands. Let me rock them for 2 to 3 years.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? Words. He on the weight loss track, but I'm like, you got a little foot for a big man.
Yeah, that's sure. I'm not supposed to be big, bro. That's why I'm getting this weight off of me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm getting it off of me. I'm getting down to the size I'm supposed to be now. So
all right, go ahead. Jordan.
I don't buy them. But my guy ended up giving me a pair of Jordans. He was like, bro, you cannot walk around with these shoes. I'm like, okay, well, what you got? But I put them on, and everywhere I walk, people will come up to me. Oh, you got the threes on. It's like, okay, what's the these? You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, let me
Google that real quick.
And instantly, I now became a part of a community. Instantly, I was now a part of a community of people that were like, now we're having a conversation about basketball and Jordans. It bridged the gap for us, and that came from a shoe. Yeah. So imagine, you know, a clothing line or a saying or a mantra on a shirt that can do that as well. Bridge that gap. So yeah. And then there's the third thing I would say about clothing line is solve the problem of quality. Like for big guys, you're solving petite. You're solving a problem for the petite. You're solving the problem for the big and tall. There's problems being solved every day with clothing line. Everything that we purchase, it is literally because it solves a problem for us. You can't find something that we're not buying that's not solving a problem.
I was about to say, walk us through that step, because we got a lot of dads out here that are entrepreneurs, want to be entrepreneurs, startupreneurs, you know what I'm saying, anythingpreneurs,
salute to the dads.
Side hustle, whatever. But like walk us through like what that market research looks like and kind of developing it. You know what I mean? So I didn't invest a lot of money into coaching, and so I have a good understanding of it, but I know there's you the wordsmith. You know what I'm saying? Like you help people launch 6-figure businesses. What is it?
Yeah. So I'm a launch strategist. So I've helped people being able to. I specifically focus on the product, like, and getting the capital so your business can prepare for scale. So you take the product, and I show you how to get people in front of the product and start getting sales on a massive level. So, and then when we launch, we'll do. We've done some 6- and 7-figure launches, and then our people are able to now hire on teams and start scaling the business. Yeah.
I like that.
Scalable.
Yes.
Scalable. I want y'all to just put that in the back of your brain as we go through this, because I think a lot of people don't think about that. They think about, I want to start a business, and they never think about scaling the business. So they always, why am I the only person working? So scalable. Just as y'all listening to this, remember the word scalable.
Yeah. And which just simply means, for those that are listening, is you're putting your business in a way where it can run even without you having to be hands-on. Can your business still create income while you're not actually touching it? What systems and processes and people and all of those things are in place. So
Talk to us about coaches, because everybody want to be a coach nowadays. And I know that's your special. By the way, if y'all ain't listened to looked at Words content, he didn't switch it up. He didn't always have good content. Now he's been on the reels, and he is the one where you had the fake gun to the dude's head,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Put your PayPal in. But is that why so many people are trying to do coaching? Is because that is quote unquote scalable? I know they can they'll come to you, launch it, then they go to Marquell and get the high ticket offers and you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, coaching itself is actually not scalable, right? Just because you
got to use the person. You can't step away from it.
Yeah. So you only make money if you're coaching a person. And if you're not coaching, then that means you're not making income. However, I think the reason why people are coaching is because it's the fastest way to get a person to invest, right? It's like, I'm gonna coach you. It's the fastest way I'm gonna use my skill set and I'm gonna get you a result, right? So I don't have to have a videographer and create content and now I got to create a course and I got to have somebody edit it. I don't have to do all of those things. I can okay, I'm great at this. I can coach you on how to do it. You give me money for it. So it's the fastest exchange of money, So that's what I think. Now, even faster exchange of money is, when you have a digital product. However, there's a lot of work on the front end
for the
that you have to do. But this is the route of least resistance. It's been I'm a coach.
What you mean it's a lot of work you got to do on the front end? Because I can't just get a Kajabi website and put my little ebook on there and buy my course.
You can, but then you actually have to complete the ebook. You got to get a design. You got to write it out. What is the ebook going to be about? Who is it for? You need to take pictures and have somebody actually edit and read it, and then you have to.
That's if you want the money.
I mean, if you want quality, but if you're not looking for quality. Sure. You can put something up and
put it out.
Put it up in the day.
What's the worst scenario? All right, sorry, Kev. Hold on one sec. What's the worst scenario you didn't came in and help somebody out with? How bad was their business?
Listen.
You ain't gotta say no names.
I think the worst scenario, and this might not even be the worst scenario for someone else, is when I come in and it's like, all right, so you got this product, it's done. Okay, who are you trying to sell to? And I despise hearing this. Everybody. I want to sell it to everybody. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna go to the moon, and then you create something and then it changes while you're creating it. That's probably the worst experience for me. There isn't something I'll come into that I don't feel like we can get out of it. But it's when we decide what the solution is, and in the midst of creating that solution, that changes. And then that changes, and that so that kind of.
I think what he means by that is like that person's not sold off of the idea that they want, and so in that while he's coaching them and working through it with them, they're changing their mind exactly of what they're going to do with the product or what the product is supposed to do. But I think that goes back to the market research and exactly with who, because honestly I find that a lot of people. Oh, no, I'm not going to say a lot of people. I'm not going to make that statement. But I do find that it could be difficult as an entrepreneur to establish a product and establish yourself when you don't know who you are. And so what it does, I think the process of establishing a business, it challenges who you are. And so if you ain't strong enough to push through and really develop a product that you believe in, then you get into a situation where you get a coach like Words, and
Words is not a coach.
Word.
No, I say he's not a coach.
Oh, no. But I mean, he's building people's businesses, so he's. But at the same time, though, you get someone like that, and so their products and then their mission. Because I think that's another thing, and I want to go back to the market. I want to go back to the market research, but also to the basic foundations of a business, right? Because now that when I think about a business, so I have a young lady at my church right now. She loves to cook. She's on Instagram. She's posting stuff. I'm like, yo, what's up? What you go do? Like, what's the name of the business? What's the mission statement? What's the vision? What are you like? What are we doing here? And I think that a lot of people even jump over that part. They got a product, but they don't have a mission for what they're doing with their business. They have a product, but they don't have a vision for that product. So I can't even scale the product because I don't even know where the product is going. Exactly. So I would like Words. I would like for you to kind of give me like a foundation back so I can get back to the market research and then go back to the scalable. So now that I have a foundation, now that I know what my market looks like, now how do I scale that thing?
Yeah. So everything you do, you need customers. So once you understand that,
well, I'm about to say where they at.
Exactly. There isn't a business that doesn't need customers. You got to have sales. So once you understand who you're talking to, why you're talking to them, what problem you're solving, and all that, and then you understand what product that you're going to create to solve their problem. Now it's a matter of you have to start marketing, right? So for me, it's not just posting on IG. Like even Josh, like how often do you see me selling something from my IG?
I don't.
But what I'm doing is building attraction. I'm getting you bought into the Words Taylor brand, who I am as a man, as a brand, as a person. Like that's the first level. When people are looking like, oh, I'm gonna spend $5,000, they're not looking at the 5K. They're looking at you. Like, wait a minute. Let me see. Like when somebody asks to borrow money, depending on who it is, like if it's your uncle, you might be like, bruh, I can't even. Right? Because
I might let them slide like half. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. We're making decisions based off of the person.
Yeah.
Right. So what my goal is, once you have all these things in place, it's like now you have to get people to trust you, to know you, to make you. Right. You got to build up your authority, and you got to get people to place value on you in their life. They have to see you valuable in their life.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and I consider this the utmost respect. You all asking me to be on a podcast and hitting me up tells me that there's some type of value that I have in your life. Right. It's a huge honor to be asked, right?
I'm honored. I was just like, oh, Word's gonna come on.
so for me, like that's what you want to do. And when you establish that value in people's life, when they see you as like, no, this is somebody that's valuable to me, then when you have a product that helps them, getting the sale is easy at that point.
Yeah. I got a question.
Not selling at that point. Yeah.
I got a question because you said value. And so I think of it because for me, when I started off as an entrepreneur, I didn't understand value, right? I didn't understand value in myself. All I knew is I need to save some kids. I'm going to go out here and get it. And so what I really did, like, now that I'm 20 years into establishing myself in the business world and doing business, that establishing authority is real. And you can't do, I don't know. I know for my business, for me, I couldn't do it through IG. I got to get in front of some people to really share what it is, that the product that I have and what I'm trying to, bro. I landed my first deal with nothing. I landed my first deal with me in the room. Hey, this is what I'm trying to do. And they got to get the value out of me, of who I was as an individual. And then once I got the opportunity, and then
but that's like you painting a picture though, which you could do that online.
Yeah. But I mean, I think at my time, I didn't have that, Instagram and stuff wasn't really. And then my market though, counselors aren't looking for me on Instagram. Principals aren't looking for a mentor on Instagram. So it's me getting in front of that market and understanding the market. But then I noticed that my selling of the product came when I established the authority, when I established my presence, when they got to see the value. And I think that we really have to push, what's the value you giving? Like, what can you as an individual, understanding your value first, and then saying, okay, what value does my product give to the people? And then now I can talk on those things.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, also to your point, one of the things we have to look at is, where are we giving the value? So for you, maybe LinkedIn might have been a better platform to be on. So it's important to know where your audience is. I mean, I know for me, if my audience is senior citizens, I'm a pop up in a McDonald's. They all at 7:00 in the morning. They're always there with their coffee, everything, or the YMCA. Either, you know what I'm saying? I'll start doing a presentation at the YMCA. But it's just a matter of, once you understand who your audience is, and you ready to start giving value, then it's a matter of, okay, where they are. Where are they? I was doing a lot of stuff on Facebook, and I learned Facebook is very family oriented, and I'm a family oriented person. But I was on when it first opened up, like 2004.
So you was on there in 2004.
Yeah, exactly. So when you look at it, who are people that are following me, that are friends with me on Facebook? It's all friends, it's parents, it's family, it's all of this. And I'm trying to build a business on there. And I learned that, okay, I'm putting out all of this value, but I'm not getting any sales, no results whatsoever. And so you can have the value, you can have the mastery and the authority and all of those things, and you can have results, but you can be on the wrong platform or in front of the wrong audience and not get any sales.
Absolutely.
So when I shifted to Instagram, I was like, oh, okay, a whole new world. Over here. You know what I'm saying? It's like Aladdin out here.
Yo, man, I want to shift a little bit, because you said something and Kev threw me off with his value question, but that's okay. I love you, bro. Shout out.
You told me to make sure you don't hide the mic, so I'm doing my job.
I appreciate you, like, you know what I'm saying, like telling me to shut up and telling me to shut up. You feel me?
Yeah.
No, but here's my thing. And words, I don't know if you talked about this, but like publicly before or not or whatever, but. So I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek, and he's got a video out there called Start With Why. And like that, if you ain't seen it, go watch it. It's only like 7 minutes. Like, I show that to all my high school entrepreneurs. And so like they can understand like how to formulate their business. And in a nutshell, it kind of goes like, okay, there's 3 circles. Most people start with what, then they go to how, and then they go to why. And so it's like, okay, if Microsoft or if Apple made stuff, they were like, hey, we sell, computers, we do that, make them very, nice and easy to use. Okay, why? Okay, hey, do you want to buy one? Nobody's going to buy that. Like, people buy with the why first. And so their why is like, everything that we do, we challenge the status quo. Yeah, we do that by making things sleek and simple to use. Just so happens we sell computers. And when you do that, that allows you to branch off to other things, computers, to, to phones, to things like that. Like, I think a long time ago, Goodyear tried to come out with TVs. Bruh, it ain't happening. But what I want you to talk about is because we had this conversation like a couple years ago about the tree trunk. And like your one solid word that you have that can really
that was a minute. It's been a
minute.
Yeah.
I remember that because we were going back and forth. It was like 11 o'clock at night. We was going back and forth on voice messages on Instagram. Words loves those voice messages on Instagram. But we was going back and forth, and you was like, yo, I think your word is like vision. So I believe that we don't need to stand at a status quo. Like we are the masters of our own destiny. And so what I was doing when I first, got certified with Eric Thomas and Associates, shout out Game Changers, number 69. When I first got certified, I was speaking to high school students. And one of the things that I realized is that the reason I was talking to high school students is because I was trying to make up for the lack of their parents' involvement. And so through the whole process, I learned that like, I don't like speaking in groups. Like I'm better at one-on-one coaching. And so that's when I actually started. I was like, if I switch to working with fathers, now they're involved and they got 15 years. And I'm like, my 1 hour speech at a high school is not going to do what that, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I want you to talk to about that, because I think when people get their tree trunk, that allows them to go in different directions. But how important is that tree trunk? And how do we figure that out?
Yeah. So even then, one, that's man, you went back probably a couple of years. I haven't dug into that in a while, but the whole purpose, the premise behind it is I was trying to figure out, there's always people that come to me that's like, man, I'm multi-talented. I'm talented here, I'm talented here, I'm talented here. I'm like, yes, you're very talented, but I need you to start with one idea first, and then let's grow that to 6 figures. And, let's get somebody to run that and then start. But they couldn't fathom that. And so I was like, well, let's see what is the common denominator of all of these things that you're doing. Right. And so for instance, there is my guy, Jorge. So Jorge.
I was like, I don't know Jorge.
Seattle. I don't know Jorge Seattle. Okay. But my man was like, he's like, as an entrepreneur, what do you focus on? Oh, people need to do this on a daily basis. Okay. I'm like, okay, you got that. And then we went over to coaching students. He was like, oh, I need students to do this on a daily basis. And then I'm like, okay, what if I ask you to work with this person? He was like, well, I need them to do this. So I was like, so you really focus on their habits. And he was like, yeah. And I want to work with all. Okay, cool. So what I told him is your trunk, the one thing that you focus on is habits. So you can still work with all of these people, but understand you just got to pick one. And whatever you do, you're going to work on habits. So now look, if I put him in front of a married couple and you're going to coach them in a marriage counseling, what do you think he's going to focus on?
Habits.
You're like, I'm going to only focus on their communication habits. What are your, lifestyle habits? I'm just focusing on habits.
Yeah.
I put you in front of a morbidly obese male. What is he going to focus on? Habits. This one word now can translate into different parts of your business. Now it's just a matter of, all right, who do you want to work with first? You can build a product and business off of that. And I'm showing them now, that it's not like you're neglecting one, but what you're really trying to get out is you have a strong desire to help people focus on their habits. And you think you got to have 7 products at one time. No, let's figure out what you're really trying to. Yeah. And so I had another guy that was focusing on, he's like, well, I help people go that, just finish up the league. I help them go from the league into back into society and getting jobs and investing and all that stuff. Oh, okay, cool. And then he was like, but man, I also have a desire to help the college student that wants to get into the league. And how do they go about that? And I'm like, okay, cool. And then he was like, But what about the college student that doesn't get picked up, that just want to go into the job? So my word, as we were digging in, I said, oh, bro, you focus on the transition. He's like, that's what I do. Like, I'm great at helping people. So we were able to break down the one word and be able to focus on like, oh, so you help people transition. So if it's a married couple and the guy, if you were working with males and he just got divorced, you're going to help him transition from being a married man to a single man. You're gonna help a high school student transition from being a high school student to a college student. So now he was able to see like, yo, you can go into any market and do this because this is your word. Like this is your focus, right? So mine is the same thing. It's all about the launching process, right? It's really the experience. So anything that I'm involved in, it has to be an experience. Yeah. Right. You know, and my team they'll tell you like, yo, don't ever put us in a position where we ruin the experience. And I'll give this example real quick. It's like we're here in Atlanta. We're in Airbnb now. This is a nice one. This is the third one. That we're moving around. This is number two. This is number two. But because the first one, we come in, I'm like, okay, this is nice. And we see ants on the counter. And I'm like, hold on. Okay, we just gonna clean up the ants. We're gonna keep going. And then in Atlanta, they have what is called a palmetto cockroach. And I'm like, listen, this is like from one of the Men in Black bugs.
I'm about to say, do they fly?
They do fly. And this is the biggest, I've never seen anything like this. This is the biggest bug I've ever seen in my life. And hard no. And I get up and my experience is ruined. We had just gotten there. I promise you, we got there at 1 a.m. I packed up our family back up at 1 a.m. We got out of the house and we went to a hotel and then we found another Airbnb. Because of my word is experience. The experience was ruined. Like, bro, you're not about to, are you serious? You're not about to have me in here. I don't know what else to expect.
Bro, all I can think about is, bro, I really hope none of them made it in your bag when you went to the hotel.
So my wife is that type of person. So now she's shaking everything and she now has to take everything out and then put it.
Messed up the whole experience.
Bro.
She's going to wash the clothes and all of this stuff, because the experience, man. So anytime I'm involved in something now, whether it's a launch or business or marriage, whatever I'm coaching on, it's all about like, okay, what type of experience are we having here? Like that.
I love that, bro.
Go ahead, Kev. I know.
No, that's dope. I think even when I'm thinking about development, I love anything that does with development. That's why I be watching The Voice all the time, because it's development. Like they sing, then they get coached. They sing, then they get coached. I love stuff like that. And I think that's why
you look like you can sing. You look like you can sing.
Don't let him fool. He a pastor, so you know he'll be up there.
No, I don't even do that. I be like, I pass. But even in that, and I think that's why I confuse other people when I say I can scale myself from elementary to high school, because even though I'm working on all three, is development. I meet them where they are, and then I develop them to where they need to be in their grade or in their maturity, and then I set them out to go. So it's not like I'm changing anything. I'm doing the same thing I do to a kindergartner is the same thing I'm gonna do with a high schooler. It's just that I have to change the language and I have to change the action. I might have to play tag for 5 minutes with the kindergartner when I just go to a high school. So like, bro, what's up? Like, where are you and where are you trying to go? So and even thinking of that, I think back to something that sticks with me with TD Jakes. TD Jakes at one point, he was like, bro, I'm a communicator. So you're going to have me communicate through books, through audio, through songs, and it's not like he's changing anything. He's just doing one thing that he does in different aspects of who or what he can do it in. And I think that's important for people to understand too as entrepreneurs. And I'm glad that you said that, because now it just connected to me exactly what I knew I was doing, but now it just makes more sense.
You're welcome.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll send you my
good.
bill.
But how you gonna get paid? I'd rather see words to check than you. You want the referral fee?
Right.
The question fee.
Real quick, what were you about to say, Words?
I said you want the question fee.
Yeah. Just call me David Shantz. But no, Words. This before we get out of here, man, because we running up, and I know you gotta go to bed, man. What time do you work out in the morning?
So
tomorrow it'll be about 9 a.m. It's a little late.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. No.
Yeah, I love you, bro. I'm 9 o'clock with you.
Okay, see,
what you don't know is that I go to bed at 8:30.
Yeah,
and it's 8:48 right now.
Yeah, you good?
Yeah. No, I'm good. But no, so here's what I want to ask you though, man, because I keep going back to this. I keep going back to the online launch strategist, things like that. And so, you know, I remember you talked about your personal fitness trainer and like how he identified your pain point and then how you broke that down. And so, one, if you could talk about that real quick, and then I'm gonna give you the second part because I don't know if you're gonna intertwine them. I want to know, one, how did this launch go, and then how are they doing now? But I remember you helped a girl launch like her brand new bra business, and I'm like, you know what I mean? For like, what you know what I remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I want to know, because that is a very specific niche, but that people think is oversaturated. I'm like, yo, but like if you get, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So one, just about the trainer, what I was saying is like he had just opened up a new gym. And it's well, I hadn't seen it at the time, but it was dope, right? And he was hitting me up, and my man was like, yo, you should come check it out. We got this equipment, we got this and this and this. And I'm like,
yeah,
bro, I'm not coming.
I want to see a little gym.
Yeah. Like, I am not. And this is, so like, as entrepreneurs, this is what we start doing. We try to attract people with the amenities and the, like, yo, I got 50 courses. I mean, I got 50 videos or 100 videos, or you're going to get this. And it's like, bro, what does that mean to me? So originally I was like, no, I'm not coming to your gym. And then, you know, we go to the same church. So he sees me walking and he was like, bro, you know, you're not walking with your feet. And I'm like, bro, what do you think these things are on the end of my legs here? These are feet. But he was just explaining to me about the heel toe, you know, the movement structurally, like you're not walking. So he was able to say, like, I could tell you have lower back pain. And I could tell you probably are dealing with this, and your body is overworking and all those things. And I was just like, okay, hold on. Now you got my attention. And as we were sitting down, you know, we had on our watches, and he was even able to go into the heart rates and how my heart rate was just high at a point of sitting. And then he talked about death and how, you know, I want to die before him. And then he even went into, and I didn't say this on the podcast, but they were talking about, I forget the number, and I don't want to say a number to freak somebody out. But he was talking about how you only have a certain number of heartbeats. He was like, the average person only has this many heartbeats in their lifetime. And then he was like, and so your heart is beating this much per second or per minute or whatever. And he's like, think about this. You're all, you know, you got maybe another
racing to the end.
Yeah. He's like, you maybe got another 20, 30 years on this heart. He's like, based off of mine, I could probably get another 50, 60. And I was looking at that and I'm like, bruh, this is a real conversation right here that you're having with me. And my immediate was like, oh, So you said the gym, y'all got the new treadmill.
You on Second Street?
Oh, that's the new one, right? The new treadmill, right? With the okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm all in that thing now. Trying to figure out what the equipment is, and we ended up working out together. And he had started me on my journey and all of that. And so it was good, that you have somebody that was willing to take that type of time to just show you why this was so important. So when you talk about Simon Sinek, I've seen that clip that you were just explaining. For me, I said my kids were my why. But if your why is really your why, then it should affect your behavior.
Absolutely.
Right? And so at that point, it was like, man, are my kids or my family really my why? Because it's not affecting how I move.
Change, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a real change. Right. And so what I did learn is when I got denied for life insurance. Now I'm able to have life insurance now, but when I got denied, I learned that my why for real was me being able to provide, being a provider for my family, even in my death. And when I got denied, I wasn't able to do that. That's what made me move. Or when I started having heart palpitations, and I was like, wait, what the heck is this? Why is this happening? And I thought that I would die prematurely, and then I would leave my family in some type of abandonment, right? I'm abandoning them, and I don't leave them in a place of security. And I learned that's the real why.
Yeah.
So, and I even told my wife, she don't like when I say this. I was just like, babe, I'm gonna be real. We getting our trust and all that together. We got the business, we got systems in place. I invested to cryptocurrency, like we got all this stuff going. I said,
what you got?
Yeah. On the crypto, I can tell you about what I invested in. But I told her, like, there's a certain point where in the next year or two, I can die comfortably if you're not gonna die. I'm not saying I am.
But you've gotten to yourself where you want it to be in the next 2 years.
And I feel like I can die and be like, okay, my family's good.
Yeah.
And that to me was the why that made me just really move on a different level. It's still my family, but it was more so what I desired for my family that helped. I don't want my wife to have to, my wife doesn't work. I don't ever want her to have to go to a job. And I don't want my kids to ever be left without a choice. I may not buy the Bentley, but I like being able to have the choice to say no.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to force them to go to college, but I like them being able to have the choice to go. I'm already doing what I want to do. And I'm taking that responsibility to give them that choice. And if I'm not in position to be able to do that, then I feel like, I've failed as a father and as a husband.
Bro, this got serious real quick, man. Cause we was up here.
That was just truth, bro.
What you about to say?
And my man's name was Tony Douglas, by the way. Tony Douglas is the trainer's name.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Where he at?
Go ahead.
I said, where he at?
He's in Des Moines. He's in Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines.
Yeah.
I've been to Des Moines one time, and it was like right after it wasn't snowing, it was just ice. And we was downtown. This is when I first started in insurance. So this was like 2010. And we was at the Nationwide building downtown. Bro, I was so mad just because it was so cold. And I'm good. Like that was the last time I was in Iowa.
That's it.
So
that's because we don't have the high buildings, right? So everything that's coming in, you just gonna get slapped with all of it.
You just getting it.
I was so mad. Yeah. So no.
Cav, what was you about to say, man? Before we get out of here.
No, man. I think that why and digging in the why. I think a lot of people just come up with the why and they never really sit in their why and really think about why they're doing what they're doing. But I love what you said though. When my why doesn't move me, is it my why? If my why is not making me change anything, if my why isn't making me do anything different so that I could be what I need to be, then that's not truly your why, or you haven't really looked and really examined your why and really made it make sense to you. And I think that one to me was the most powerful thing that anybody could say, because I think as entrepreneurs, we're so trying to get to the money and so trying to get to the establishment where we're pushing it through. We're pushing it through. And that I think that's why you get things podcasts. They only last 6 months. We lasted 52 weeks. What's up? I think we 53. We in the new year. But like you get these industries, especially Black owned businesses. That's one of the biggest, like for me, it's like, man, we get in and 6 months later, it's like, wherever happened to that good business or that business that started off. So really understanding your why and making sure that why moves you to something. That's just
like that, because if it's not moving you, then I'm not gonna say it's not the right why, but you have to allow it to attach to your actions. That's the problem. Like I even understood, like there was a point where my wife and I we lost our home and things like that, and that's because I had quit school to take a job that was paying me $50,000. I was like, man, I made it. At 23 years old, you feel like you made it. And we had our 5-month-old daughter. Now, as soon as we had our daughter, again, I saw indication of it, but I ain't recognize it. I'm like, oh, my daughter's my why, to live and lose weight, no action. However, as soon as we lost the home, I lost a job, and I was in jeopardy of not being able to provide, I took action. So I ended up going back to school. Now, I'll tell you, I had the best counselor ever for 2 years. For the 2 years that I was out, my man probably literally emailed me once a month, once every other month. Like, man,
wow,
you're almost there. Like, you only have 20 credits. Please just finish. And I'm like, bro, I'm making money out here. What are you talking about? But as soon as I was in jeopardy of not being able to provide, then it kicked in. Oh, shoot, I need to take action. I immediately hit him up. Yo, what do I need to do? How do I do it? All of those things. So it's just a matter of examining, okay, you said this is your why, but now understanding why is this your why?
Ooh, I like that.
Internally, what has driven you to say this? Or this, like, because everybody says, oh, my family's my why. But what? What about your family that you don't want them to lose, right? Yeah. What about your family that you don't want to transpire that will cause you to move?
That's good.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
You about to have me staying up and writing. Look, I'm gonna be up for a minute just because. Yeah.
That's good though.
Because that's real talk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's real. We always be like, oh yeah, like you said, like that's my why. This my why. And it's just like, is it really? But then the thing that y'all said that, you know what I'm saying, really stuck with me is like, yo, like your why will cause you to take action. Or are your actions related to your why? Like they're not adding up. Like 2 + 2 ain't 5, bro. Like you're not doing what you said, what you're supposed to be doing if this is your why. And so, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm a pretty honest dude. Like for a minute I was coasting. Just in general, you know what I'm saying? Like especially when you look like us, you're from the hood, you don't come from nothing. Well, then you get a little bag, then you get moved to a nice neighborhood. You making money, you know what I'm saying? Your spouse making money, and then you just like, oh, we good. But it's just like, are we? Because good was never the goal.
Yeah.
But anyway,
what
you about to say? Words?
Coach Marquell, and I know you're trying to wrap it up. My coach Marquell says,
no, I'm not trying to wrap nothing up. I'm just trying to be respectful of you.
Yeah. So my man says, you know what stops people from getting to $1 million? He's like 500,000. And I was like, that's good. Because you get to a point where you start to just like, oh, you know what? I'm good here.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do anything else. And that's what stops you. That's what it starts to, the complacency of it, or the fact that, like, so I think about it like this, or the fact that you've made it a step or two further than you thought you would have, or the people around you have made it. So now you can really become complacent. You're like, yo, I've made it further than anybody in my circle. I'm good. And you become satisfied with being the big dog. Yeah. I'm here, like I'm talking. So I talked to Dave. Dave was like, "Yo, you need to just move here." Like, nah, I'm not doing that. And Dave makes great money, but he was like, "Man, I'm hanging around guys now that make me feel like I'm on welfare." And I'm like, "Oh, they're just constantly stretching you, right?" And so what happens is we get to a point of complacency, and then we forget about there's so much more. I remember when my only goal, I was telling my guy Rashard, I was like, bro, if I could just get to 10K a month. And you because 10K a month seems like,
bro,
that is the epitome of you've made it, right? You know, that 6-figure mark. And then you get there, you get on top of this mountain, and you like, wait a minute, there's a 50K a month mountain over there, and there's 100K a month. And there's $1 million a month mountain. What the heck was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? So it's just amazing that the complacency of where we are and the complacency of our goals because of the lack of exposure. We don't even know what's out there. I didn't know until I did it. I haven't made a million a month yet, but I've been a part of a launch that has. And I was like, because my man was like, yo, we're going to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, here's the system that I would do. Here's how I would do it. And let's rock with it. And to actually do it, I was like, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know people could make $1 million in 1 month. And here I am thinking that the epitome of finances is $10,000 a month.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Exactly. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And yesterday's goals.
Bro. I remember this so vividly. I had this conversation with my grandmother. And I told her, I was in college, and I was like, if I never make more than $80,000 a year, I would be perfectly fine.
Wow.
And then when I made 80, I was like, bro, I'm not fine. And then, you know what I'm saying? As you know what I'm saying, as we did better, I was just like, I'm still not fine. And I like low key, I had like a daydream that like I know you in Atlanta. I was like, Word's probably gonna be at the E complex. I was like, Dave probably gonna pop in there. And I'm gonna have to ask Dave a question on the spot. And I was like, Dave, I'm gonna give you a lob and be like, yo, like, what is the one thing that keeps people like from reaching success? And of course, Dave would say their environment, and then he would pitch the morningmeetup.com. I had this whole play in my head, but it's the environment, bro. Like, and it's the same thing you talking about with like when you talking about with Dave. Like, I'm around people that make me feel like I'm on welfare, and so. That environment will make or break you guys. Like, get in the right environment.
Yeah, my pops did a phenomenal job. The only reason I'm an entrepreneur is because of him, right? So he owned cleaners, and he did being from Chicago, he was a hustler. So so I only knew entrepreneurship. I've never seen him clock in or anything like that. But I was exposed to that. Every trip that he went on, the expos, I was always there. That level of exposure, I was trying to get myself, and this is what we do. We try to force ourselves to fit in the systems that we're not meant for.
Amen.
So college, he was already showing me how to make money without college, but people said, you need to make sure you're starting in college.
Yeah.
So we shifted to making sure I got in college. However, he had already showed me
how to make
what
that
I
money.
really truly needed to. Yeah, he showed me to. Now I'm trying to force myself into a job, into a system, and I'm psychologically unemployable. Like I just psychologically, I've been fired. I am the worst employee ever. Right? And that's because I was trying to fit myself into. Now I'm not saying I would probably been a better employee had that been my environment, but that was never my environment. And so we have to be exposed to more if we want to ever get more. So I always conferences. I don't care who it like. I pulled up on Dave's thing while he was here. People were like, "Oh, you speaking?" I'm like, "No, I'm in the seats. I'm learning." Like I want to hear. I'll pull up on those things because I want to be exposed to different environments. I want to be exposed to different strategies, perspectives, all of that. The GOAT conference, I'm going to that. I will spend money on these things and invest into exposures and get me into different rooms. People are not willing to do that because I understand the exposure in the rooms. Whatever investment that I put in, I'm going to 10x it. Yeah, I'm gonna 10x it. And if it's not just from the information, it's just from the exposure alone. Yep. I remember the intimidation that I had was I went to I don't know if y'all have Million Cups, the meetings there.
I think we do. Okay. Anyways, but keep going.
So my man, there's two guys talking. I went to this meeting. There's two guys talking, and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm on my second one." And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm introducing myself. And I'm like, what are y'all talking about? He's like, well, I was just congratulating John here. He's on his second Starbucks. And I'm just like, okay. And I didn't go back to the meeting. Yeah. I didn't go back because of the level of exposure. It was intimidating for me. Now I understand that type of exposure, you can either use it for intimidation or you can use it to stretch yourself. Yeah. Now I'm like, I want every room because if it's not the information, it's at least the conversation that you all are having that has me like, I'm not doing anything. I thought I was doing something. I'm not doing it.
Or I'm doing it, but I wasn't doing it that way.
Come on, Kevin. Like, I'm doing it, but you just that was good. You know what I'm
but
saying?
I love the fact of exposure because that's what I really drive on when I think about students, and especially the students that I love to serve. The biggest part is exposure and environment, and if you can't like me being from Houston and having the opportunity for exposure, my aunt worked for Southwestern Bell. Yeah, I got to go to executive suite all the way down to the, you know what I mean? Hang out with everybody. But that exposure made me a different person than the people in my neighborhood because they didn't get that exposure. The exposure to me between a white person and a black person is totally different. We're paying for the rooms now, which they're just getting into the rooms as kids. Like that's your uncle, that's your cousin, that's your, or hey, they're having this big meeting and you need to be in that meeting type deal. Now we're having to pay for those sessions, but now we have access to that information and we have to get exposed. So if any entrepreneur is on here and they're like, man, I want to be in business, you can't be in business by yourself. You gotta get in the room with other people. Like that's one of the things that I loved about Campbell.
Who's that?
Campbell.
Tyler Campbell.
Tyler Campbell.
Yeah.
When he was talking about business side of it, he was stepping into rooms that he was the only one in that room for our culture, but he was selling the joke and learning new tips and learning new tricks about how to sell meat. Like, come on, man. Like, we gotta get in the room. Once you understand your product, once you understand your service, man, don't be so afraid of somebody stealing your idea, your product, or what you do. Like, you need to get in the room and you need to start communicating and being in the process. My business when mentorship, right? They have a mentoring conference every year. When I went to the first mentoring conference, I was like, all right, I know what I need to do. I was like, man, y'all doing it with 20. I'm going to do this with 1. Like, seriously, like I my exposure had grown and my fire for what I did grew because what I learned, market. When I was at this conference, what I learned was the East Coast is killing mentorship. The West Coast is jumping onto mentorship. Gulf Coast, the connection and the organizations and the connection in organizations non-existent.
Yeah.
So what that says is that, hey, there's a market for something in this golf for mentorship and organization. But again, we got to get into the rooms. We got to get the exposure. We got to get outside of ourselves. Stop being scared somebody stealing our ideas. Get into the rooms and work with the people and share. And I always tell people, you can take my idea. You can take my product.
No, you can't.
But you're not me.
You ain't gonna execute it. You're
not gonna execute it. That's exactly. You're not gonna execute it the way that I'm gonna execute it. And so, and I think that's the most important thing that I had learned over the times too. It's like, man, got to get in the room. Can't be afraid. And somebody always told, if I'm the smartest one in the room, then I'm in the wrong room.
I'm in the wrong room.
Kev, but check this out though, real quick. So we talked about the homie Tyler Campbell. So my homie Tyler is the youngest son of Earl Campbell.
Okay.
And so the thing about Tyler is that, yes, he was exposed to the rooms, but he still got to take action.
Got to take action.
So as you guys are getting exposed to these rooms, it's not just enough to be there and just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You got to do the work.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's good. Cause we get caught up. Like this used to be me for sure, where you get caught up in, because I made the purchase, then that was the action.
Oh,
I bought the course. That's the action. Oh, I'm good now. But the real action is the implementation of what you just heard, what you just learned. Just like, oh, I went to church today. That's not the action. Right? It's good. It's good. Good.
Praise God.
Okay. Did you implement what the pastor said, or did you implement the scripture? Did you actually do? That's where the transformation comes from. Because it's like, oh yeah, I went, I was there, and we give ourselves credit for those, for those small things. Like, yeah.
Pat yourself on the back.
But that says something to what type of state we're in as humans, like where we just want some type of validation, right? And I'm cool with giving validation, but it's like people are starving for it, but don't just take the lack of doing and then using that as your validation. But that does show the state of humans. Everyone is trying to fight for attention and to be validated in some type of way, and it's it's sad to see that. It's like, but I still went. Yeah, but I bought the course. But yeah, you didn't. You bought it to do something with it, But
yeah.
But I know we're going to a whole nother.
I was about to say, bro, we didn't try to pivot a couple times. I was like, man, this two of the podcasts. Before we get out of here, what you got, man? What's some final thoughts you got for the people out there? And you can go ahead plug. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to plug. I know you're not big on selling.
Yeah. Just that's funny. Like, I'm not big on selling, but I'm big on selling. Like, I'm. That's what I do is sales, but I'm not big on selling. But at Words Taylor, that's it. Just look me up there and then, enjoy some of the content and the teaching. But what I would say, most importantly, anytime that I wanted to grow my business, I want to grow as a husband or grow as a father, I know that all of those things are attached to my own personal growth. So I always focus on, I have to increase me if I want to increase everything else around me. I am not separate from the things that I am a part of in my life. So my business, if I want to grow my business to a different level, I think about how I can develop me more. And those things will be infused. One of the things we have to learn as far as being businessmen or whatever, is money is not attracted to anger. It's not attracted to laziness. It's not attracted to procrastination, nor is your spouses or whatever. They're not attracted to these things. So, or your kids. So what I try to do, now I'm not saying I have this down. Okay. So don't, I don't want to speak from a high place. I'm speaking directly. I try to, if I'm wanting to increase things around me and I want my wife to be attracted to me. I want my kids to be attracted to me. Then I focus on, how do I increase myself? What is it that I need to personally develop in me that will make my daughter have a desire to spend more time with me, or my son to have a desire, or my wife to want to be around me more, or how do I attract, more relationships in the business? All of that comes from my own personal development. So I think that's a good word for me that I would say. That's
good. KB, what you got, man?
Man, that's it right there. Like, seriously, like you gotta really build yourself before you can build anything else. Man, this episode's fire. Like, if you ain't on here getting some information, then I don't know what to tell you. Listen, definitely like know your why, and not just know your why, like really investigate your why, really understand your why. And I always try to talk to people when they start a business, like, man, is this something that you really want to do for the rest of your life? Like, is this something that you see yourself giving yourself into? Like, Words love what he does. Like, I could tell from just talking to him, like this dude has went to every conference, every sim. He wants your lunch experience to be the best lunch experience that you've ever had. Like, that's what. So to me, when I talk to people and they're not that passionate about their business, like they're not thinking like 10, 15, even if you're going to sell it in 10 years, like be passionate about what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be frustrating. But if you got the passion, if you got the heart, go for it, and then get into the room with other people who either been there, who's even exceeding where they're going, or sometimes the people who are just launching off have nuggets that you've never would have thought of. So like definitely get into the room with some people, put it in your heart, make it something that you want to do. Listen, when I started Odyssey Inc., I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have a plan B. It was just a plan A. If it didn't work, I was gonna be in the street mentoring whoever was in the street.
I was hoping you finished that thought.
I was gonna be in the streets, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan B because I wanted to see this work, whether fail or succeed. But because of my only having a plan A, when I spoke to people about what I do, what I did, what I do now, the passion. I had somebody, listen, y'all, I work part-time at Gap. I'm ringing somebody out and they're asking me about, what I do outside of Gap. By the time I finished that conversation, he said, who do I need to speak to let them know about you?
Wow.
Who do I need to speak? Like you, what you're talking about and your passion, like I need to tell people about you. And so to me, when you love what you do, you're sold into what you're trying to do, you know your why, you're getting the support, the conferences, the rooms, like you cannot be denied. You cannot. Now you're just expanding your goals and you're expanding your ideas, right?
Yeah.
So hey man, that's what it's all about.
Let's go.
Words. Thank you, bro.
Hey, before everybody gets in those rooms, I need y'all to like this podcast. I need y'all to subscribe to the podcast. I need y'all to share the podcast. I need y'all to do all those things to the podcast, y'all. Everybody out there on internet land, Words, what'd you say?
I said, stop playing. Subscribe to the podcast.
Stop playing. Run these numbers up. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Until next week, take care. God bless. We out of here.